So today I woke up at 3:20 something a.m. because of a dream I had. Now in this dream, skipping the entire dream just to the part that's important and why I made this video was because I woke up with my head and my body like vibrating, not because shaking it wasn't a lot of shaking like but it was just like a small vibration like you just your head into a wall or something, right? And it was because of this thing called vertigo or maybe anxiety. And now that I'm making this video, I don't know what it is. So I'm hoping somebody can explain to me. Or if you had the same symptoms, what have you done about it? What do you actually have? Have you been to the doctor? Have you seen any signs of anything that could help with it, with vertigo, anxiety, this thing called behavioral dizziness that I read about? So 3:20 a.m. woke up, sat in the toilet for about 40 to 45 minutes, researching like why do I have vertigo? How do you get vertigo? What is vertigo? Does it cause anxiety? What is anxiety? How do you treat all these symptoms? And what causes it? What is the ultimate like result of this? So a couple things I have written down here is number one, why do I say vertigo first? Is because I've been saying that I have vertigo for a couple years now. Because number one, I when I let's say I try to skateboard, I lose my balance instantly. I don't skateboard. I don't even try to get into a skateboard, and I just lose balance. Like it's just weird. I'm not a fan of it. And also, like whenever I go somewhere high, like a ladder to grab something from a shelf, or I go to a high rise and you're looking down 50 floors, you're like, whoa, like you kind of get like woozy or whatever, not to the extreme, but it's kind of like, damn, okay, vertigo. So those two things are like the main common ones, and that's my number one. So my second one would be I have my motorcycle accident. So I already knew I had vertigo, but and some people associate vertigo with like, how do you ride a motorcycle? Like, I don't know how vertigo and motorcycles have to do with anything, but anyway, my motorcycle accident I had back in 2020. I went down 60 miles per hour on the highway. My bike didn't have ABS, so my bike just literally just locked the front wheel, went down, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all. And I got back on it. I sent after 2 months of not being able to walk, road rash, all these things. I got back on it. I rode that's the same motorcycle that I crashed on, fixed it, rode it, no problem. I sold it because it was too hot in Miami to be riding a super sport. I bought a cruiser. I rode a cruiser for a while, no problem. Bought another cruiser. And after a few months, I started hearing sounds. Now, this is where the vertigo thing comes in and the dizziness or whatever. I started hearing sounds like nails were like nails. Um, like the bike was just falling apart. Like it like the wheel was gonna fall off, or like I was losing control of the bike. Like I started cramping up on my hands. I couldn't get my hand out of the clutch because I was like so tensed up on the bike, and I had my right foot on the back brake at all times. I was going super slow. It came from one day doing a turn, like a half eight, and the bike kind of slipped one way, and and when the front wheel slipped, which was the same thing as how I crashed. I was doing a turn, I was kind of like tilted to the side, and it slipped, and I almost kept going straight into incoming traffic. So that kind of that's exactly what triggered this emotion. And after that, it was never the same. I rode the bike for about 3 more weeks, and every single time I would get on the bike, it would be anxious. Like I was tensed up. I would cramp up from being so tense on the bike. I could not go without thinking about the bike was falling apart. Like I was hearing sounds that you shouldn't be hearing. And I took it to the mechanic twice. He told me nothing was wrong with the bike. I told him I kept hearing sounds. It was super weird. So I ended up selling the bike, and since then I have not been able to ride a motorcycle because of that. It was like fear and or anxiety or something, and it kept going back to my vertigo thing. So that's my number two. After my crash, it kind of like grew. So for number three, I have when I'm inside a car and I'm in traffic and a stop sign is coming, or whoever's driving is going way too fast and I have no control over the car, I'm always on the defensive. I'm like in my head, I'm like, watch out, watch out, watch out. And like always thinking the worst. So we're going to crash. Somebody going to crash us from the front. I'm always looking. My reflexes have always been good because of motorcycle and always being on the defensive. But it's just too intense. Like my heart just drops through my feet and I try to press the brake. Like that's anxiety. I feel like that's anxiety. I don't know if, but I always said I don't have anxiety. Like I'm not anxious for nothing. Like nothing's happening to me. I know I'm sitting right here, not like, but it's just those small moments that trigger something in me that it's like, bro, is this coming from the vertigo or is this anxiety? Is what it's fear? Is it PTSD? What is it? And I never truly understood it. So after that dream last night and thinking about it, I and started doing it. I'm like, okay, let me write down everything that triggers something in me that makes me feel this anxiety or vertigo, as I've been calling it, right? So number four is motorcycle anxiety and how I was shaking, could not even drive it. Yeah, that I just said it. Like the motorcycle, I couldn't even drive it, man. It was honestly, it sucked. So number five, when I go on rides at the fair or theme parks or anything like that, in rides you have no control, and we've seen enough videos of rides where they go flying. That's and people die obviously, and that's obviously worst case scenario, right? But I've already been at 60 miles per hour and I couldn't control it, and I've gone down. So every time I'm at the fair and I'm at the park and I have no control and I gotta close my eyes. And let me tell you, closing your eyes or looking at already knowing that you have vertigo, so I call it, and seeing how high you are, or closing your eyes and picturing the worst thing are both extremely bad things. And I tried to cope with it until I think it was last year. I went on a few rides because my girlfriend loves going on every single ride in the park, and we go on the rides. And in the ride, I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we go. By the third ride, I started feeling anxious, a stomach ache. I I went on a ride and I felt like I was gonna throw up. I've never thrown up, thank God. But I knew I didn't have control or anything, and I'm just like, God, please don't let this ride send us flying toward, you know, unaliveness. But it's just you picture the worst, and I still, again, this is why I'm making this video. I don't know what triggers all these emotions: the PTSD, fear, anxiety. What is it? And I'm hoping that somebody that watches this video is going through the same thing or has gone through the same thing and can help me fix it. Because honestly, I don't really trust doctors. They prescribe you pills that have worse side effects than what they actually meant to do for you. They haven't helped me with my back problems at all in like the past few years. Like I haven't had good experiences with doctors at all, and honestly, I don't trust for them to mess with my head. So I'm asking, social media can either make you or break you. You get bad stuff from social media, it consumes you. It's all great. I mean, bad, but it can also be great. Like you could get information through sharing your own experience and getting information from other people, which is what I'm hoping this video does for me. So let me know in the comments down below if you are experiencing something like this and how you fix it. Moving on, let's see. We said the rights of the fair. I after that day, after I rode that third ride and I feel anxious and about to throw up. I didn't get on any of the rides, and I haven't gone on any other rides. And honestly, I'm not going to. And skydiving, it's definitely not for me, obviously. And then after that, the most recent one is I wanted to share with my girlfriend this motorcycle race called the Isle of Man, which is like the most dangerous race there is for motorcycle riders. And I go and I had never watched this clip or anything, and I go to show her, look how fast they go, and this is insane. I would never drive that fast, nor do cornering like they do. But I go show her the video, and this was the breaking point for asking myself what is happening. I show her the 2 minute video, and the bike comes in through the corner, and I don't know what to expect. I've never seen this video before. I'm just showing her like how fast they drive, whatever. The guy comes full speed through the corner, do a cornering, and it's a full corner, almost a full U, and the guy just keeps going straight into a wall, demolishes the motorcycle, like he got destroyed against the wall. And the moment he hit the wall, my heart sunk. I felt it sink, and I said out loud to her, I'm like, PTSD. PTSD. Like, I just said those words and I started crying. I started crying so hard, like uncontrollably hard, and I didn't understand why. It was crazy. And she's like, I didn't know it was this bad. I didn't know it was this bad. And I'm like, well, me either. This is the first time this happens. And it's crazy when you have no control over that emotion, that strong emotion. And I still don't know why. So I'm trying to get help through you guys and see what is happening. But that video right there, as soon as it hit the wall, heart dropped. I was at PTSD. I was like, this is crazy. After that, I started watching more and more motorcycle videos, just because I ran motorcycles because of the freedom that you have. And I am obsessed. I'm in love with motorcycles, and I will ride again, I'm sure. But it doesn't make any sense how you could be so anxious and fearful and I don't know about something, but yet you love it. Like, it's so contradictory. It's crazy. So I'm hoping to get some answers from this video. And the last one, your head spinning, like sometimes with your eyes closed. Like, for example, it's not to the extreme, but let's say at random times, like you woke up super fast, or it's just random times. Then let's say you want to take a nap and you're super tired, and you close your eyes and your head just starts spinning and spinning and starts spinning super fast, and you're like, okay, calm down. You try to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and it doesn't stop. So the only way it stops spinning and is if you open your eyes and you're like, okay, just keep your eyes open because you can't close your eyes right now. Your head just starts spinning. Super weird. So for me, I've always said, oh yeah, I have vertigo. I have vertigo. I have vertigo. And so I looked up the definition for vertigo, and it wasn't really what I was feeling. Like, the symptoms of vertigo would be feeling of spinning or swaying, vomiting, difficulty walking. Not nothing really, just the feeling on spinning, and just that, like the last one that I just said, like when you close your eyes. How does it go away? Vertigo often gets better without treatment. Your doctor may recommend exercises or medicines that can help. Medicines, again, I rather talk to my people at YouTube for medicine. And exercises, I do breathing techniques, I work out, I run, I do exercise every single day. I work on my breathing every single day. So sleep with your head elevated on two pillows, lie in the dark, quiet room to reduce the spinning sensation. That actually makes it worse. I've tried it. Sit down as soon as you feel dizzy. Well, duh. And then the duration. It's more than just feeling dizzy. A vertigo attack can last from a few seconds to hours. Yep. Hours, I don't know about that. If it's true vertigo, I wouldn't know, I guess. But it does last a few seconds. If you have severe vertigo, it can last for many days or months. Uh, yeah, intense. Your symptoms may be constant and last for several days. While the duration of vertigo is dependent on the cause, it can last from several days. Same thing. Prevention: problems by looking into the slower moving distance when traveling, getting up and walking around if possible, or making sure you turn on the light at night. Yeah, I've sometimes I've had to sleep with the TV on because I don't know, my head would just wouldn't stop thinking. But that's something completely different that makes no sense. By reducing anxiety, yoga and deep breathing, I already do, could prevent vertigo attacks. Same thing, same thing. So brings me to one thing that I found doing research was inner ear problems, which affect balance, are the most common cause of vertigo. It can also be caused by problems in certain parts of the brain. Oh, am I dumb? Common causes of vertigo may include benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, BPPV, where certain head movements trigger vertigo. My head movements have never been a problem unless it's on rides and things like that when I actually get anxious. Um, that inner ear thing might be because sometimes when I'm finished running or I listen to too much music, obviously the music is gonna cause it. But sometimes I do get like a distant uh, in my ear, like a ring, I guess, and that was one of the signs that I found that could be something messing up with my brain or like my inner ear. And sometimes, again, not to the extreme, but there's been maybe 5 times in the last 5 years, which maybe more, my whole life, let's say, 5 times in the last few years where I kind of like lose balance, and I gotta like catch myself, obviously. But again, it's nothing extreme. I lose balance, and I'm just like, whoa, and I'm like, that's crazy because I couldn't help it, and it was weird. So I wonder if it does have to do something with my ears. That should be something that I should be checking out. Again, I want you guys to let me know if you have had any of these symptoms or problems. How did you fix it? Or if you guys are experts at it, how can I start doing things to better myself before going to the doctor? Because again, it's nothing extreme. I'm not going to die tomorrow, but I did do some research and I went into a deep rabbit hole at 3:50 in the morning, 4 a.m. And everything led to stroke, brain damage, aneurysms, and all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, I'm dying tomorrow. But which I keep saying that word, and I know YouTube doesn't like it. But yeah, see, ringing in ears, dizziness, vision trouble. Vision trouble. I have horrible vision, so I wear contacts. So that's not really slurred speech. I have a bad accent just because English is not my first language. So sweating, no sweating, loss of balance. I just told you guys, loss of balance, limb weakness. I don't have weak limbs. I do have a little separation in my hips, but that nothing to do with that. Nausea or vomiting. No vomiting, nausea only when I get on rides. Trouble swallowing. No trouble swallowing, even though sometimes I feel kind of sick when I drink too much like sugary hydration drinks, Gatorade and all that stuff. Like your throat gets kind of messed up, but I don't think that that would be part of it. And yeah, so that's the last one. Again, all some symptoms I've had, nothing, none of them are extreme, but it's just my experiences. Like the dream, I was so just to specify the dream better. I was watching like a tennis match, and it was on sand, water, in the where the water is, like if you're walking in the beach and there's water, it was the tennis match. It was a stadium, and you know how in the stadium the seats go up and gets longer. I'm at the top and I'm trying to get a seat in the bottom, but it's sand because it's in the beach. I jump to get to get a seat, but that jump lasts about 40 seconds and I have no control over my body. My head starts spinning, looking everywhere. I have no control. My body starts getting, again, vertigo. And when I land, I wake up. Obviously, my eyes aren't open. My mind just wakes up, and my head is pounding and shaking, and my body's shaking, and I'm not sweating fully, but I'm kind of like hot. And that's when I'm like, this is what is going on, dude? And I went to the bathroom and I sat down on the toilet and I started doing some research. I'm like, why is this happening? There's all these little weird things that happen that it's not always different symptoms. It's always the same symptoms. It's like anxiety, PTSD, fear. What is this? And I still don't know. So I don't want to label anything anymore. I've been saying vertigo for the past years because it's on balance and like scared of like heights. But now I just don't know. And I it just makes no sense. And again, I can search through Google, through ChatGPT, all I can. But again, you go into loopholes and you can find so many things and everything will be right. But there's just way too much information. And I want to know from you guys' experience, from actual people experiencing this, what has been your experience and what did you do that helped you? So if you stayed long enough in this video and you watched it all and you heard all my stories and all my key points, and if you know anybody that's have been through this, please comment down below and just let me know. Let's help each other out. I think YouTube is the best way to get help from people that have been through the same situation. And yeah, that's it. See you guys in the next video.